I think this is my sixth year at Camp Colorado. I started actually before I lived in Colorado. I came with a friend of mine who was a regular at camp, and they knew I had diabetes and was interested and thought that'd be a great way to, kind of learn more and to meet other people who had it. Because at that point, I was diagnosed an adult. I didn't really know anybody who had diabetes at that point. So, no, sure, and I've got a little bit different perspective on that. Being diagnosed as an adult, I was 24, and so I had my endocrinologist and my occasional CD visit. But other than that, I really didn't have anybody who I interacted with on a daily or even a sparse basis that could kind of speak to what was going on. And diabetes is so different for every person who has it that you do pick up a lot of tips and tricks from just peers and people that you know and friends and that kind of thing who have it. For example, I think the first year I was here, we were talking about bolusing for black coffee, which seems like a bizarre thing because there's no carbs in black coffee, but you sort of start realizing that it does have an effect, particularly in the morning. And so people tell you these kind of things, and then you kind of pick up these tips and tricks and go from that. And I think for these kids too, a big piece of it is just knowing, because for a lot of them, they are the kid in their school or in their class who has diabetes. They're not one of three or one of five. They're the kid. And so to be in a group of 7 campers in a cabin and be very, very close with these guys over a week and really get to know how everybody does things, it's a great way to sort of trade information and learn a lot of stuff. But I think just a lot of that person-to-person interaction means more sometimes to these kids than what mom might tell them or their doctor might tell them or those kind of things. You can hear those things a million times. When you see your friends doing it's like that, it sinks in. It's always little things. It's surprising because you have a kid who may be struggling a little bit the first couple days of camp, and then you see them really fit into the group, really have a very good time, build a lot of sort of self-confidence, just being very comfortable. And then you see them a year or two later, and for example, this year I've got a kid who was in my cabin 2 years ago. I've got a large number of kids who were 11-year-olds 2 years ago. Now I've got 13-year-olds, and they're all, that year it was a little bit of getting to know each other, a little bit of a cool couple first days, and they were great friends by the end of it. And 2 years later, they all show up to camp again, and they're in the same cabin, and they just kind of go, just pick up and go. Same nickname, same everything, so it's a lot of fun that way. I love the fact that, you say, oh, I'm going to diabetes camp, and people say, that's so great that you spend your time or you take a week out of your summer and do that kind of stuff. And I honestly feel like at the end of the day, I get much more out of this than the kids get out of me. Hopefully they feel differently. Hopefully they feel like it's really great. But this is a great way not only to impact some young people's lives with diabetes and really create a safe environment for them to have a really good time, but also it's a great way to just take a week out of the busy, hectic stuff that goes on in your day-to-day and really appreciate things. I always feel like it sort of clears the consciousness out a little bit, gets you kind of refocused, and I always leave camp feeling tired, definitely, but also really, really great and very positive towards life and towards other people and towards society in general. It's a really great experience. It does a lot of good for these kids, and I think that it pays dividends that are double what you put into it, which is something that keeps me coming back year after year for sure. So we've been doing camp here. Eagle Lake has their program that they do all summer long, and they're kind of gracious enough to every year set aside a week and switch that up and let us do diabetes camp. And I think we've been up here for 15 plus years, and it's been a really, really, really great relationship just because they've always done a very good job of always taking care of the kids, making sure they have a great time. We do a really good job of making the kids safe, but there's this genuine sort of spirit, I think, of the Eagle Lake folks really wanting to learn more about diabetes, wanting to learn about what these kids go through, wanting to understand. They do the finger sticks. They are interested if they'd wear sensors. They do whatever essentially to kind of understand a day in the life a little bit, and I think that's something that the kids really appreciate as well. So we've had a really great working environment. We have a very good working relationship with them, and that's something I hope continues indefinitely.